I am originally from Little Rock, Pennsylvania, and when I graduated from high school, I went down to Washington Lee University. I went through my 4 years there, and I studied American history, anthropology, and archaeology. And I swore up and down that I would never be part of education because my mom, my brother, and my grandmother were all teachers. So it happened that about halfway through my senior year, I did some community service at a middle school, and I absolutely fell in love with the classroom. But then I was up creek because I had no certification, and I wanted to get into a classroom. So luckily, I contacted you in Teach Kentucky, and you kept on me to keep up with the paperwork and keep in contact. And I came to Louisville for 2 days and fell in love with it. So fast forward to the day I graduated. I got my diploma, had my truck all packed, and the next day I moved to Kentucky. The day after that, I started my master's program at U of L and my certification. Since I was then a content area besides science and math, I was out there interviewing for jobs, I was meeting new people, I was networking, and I ended up getting a job out at Shelby West Middle School, teaching 7th grade world history. This is now my 4th year, and I've had an absolute blast teaching. I've learned a whole heck of a lot. I've gotten my master's, I've gotten my certification, and I'm cruising along. So, one of the toughest things about being a teacher is starting off that first day. And I've realized that the first day is something that has an immense amount of power in it. Because if you get this kids on your side on the first day, the rest of your year, the next 179 days, it's going to be so much easier. Throughout my experiences with the kiddos, I've realized that physical appearance is an absolutely huge part of their life being adolescents since I teach 7th grade. So what I decided to do was use my body as a prop. So my first day of school, I totally shaved my head and used a razor and took it all the way down to the skin, and then had my fellow teacher at the time, Paul Barnwell, take a green permanent marker and draw all the continents onto my head, and then in blue permanent marker, wrote every single one of my 136 kids' names into all the oceans. Now, since this was such a great idea and it took a long time, I did it the night before and I managed to ruin 5 pillowcases. So we woke up early the next morning and he was able to rewrite those names. But as I went into the school, everybody was looking, and I did not say a word about it. If anybody asked, I said, "It's not for you, it's for my kids." And then I had all of my kids that first day, and for the first half of the period, I did not say a single word about it. And halfway through, I said, "Well, some of you guys might have noticed that I have the world on my head. And on that world, I have every single one of your names in the oceans." And I said, "There's a couple reasons why I have this." And I said, "First, my head is a complete blank slate. It has no hair on it because I don't care what you did last year. I don't care what you did at home. But right now, you have a complete blank slate with me, and you define who you are with me. So I don't care what trouble you got in. You all have a blank slate, and you can all be great people. Second is your name is on this world. Your name is on my head. This means that you have a place in this world that nobody else can take away. So nobody can take that spot away from you. That is yours for the rest of your life. That is yours for this time, and it's what you make of it. Another reason why I have your name on my head is because from now on until I'm gone, you and I have a permanent relationship as a teacher and a student, and after you get out of my class, as a person and a friend. And I want you to know that. I also told my students that throughout the course of the year, I would not cut my hair. And the growth of my hair would be a physical representation of their mental and intellectual maturation as a person as they went through one of the craziest years of their life, which is their 7th grade year. From that action on the first day of school, I had relationships equal to the last day of the previous year with those kids. And every class day after that day when I had the globe on my head, I was able to engage those students and work with them at a new level and just increase their learning to such a high degree, while at the same time helping to make sure that they know that they have somebody they can trust and somebody that they can go to if they have a problem. All right, a lot of people want to have a classroom that's really engaging and have all the students involved. And one of the ways to do this in class is having discussions. But oftentimes, students haven't been taught how to discuss in class, how to take turns, how to respect other people's opinions, and how to pay attention to the listener. So when they do discuss, they're not repeating anything. And this is one of these things that helps me out a whole lot. In my class, I use something called discussion animals. And it could be something as small as this, or something as perfect is a Beanie Baby. And I was given a whole sack of these by a friend, and I was wondering how to use them in the classroom, and I figured it out. The first discussion we would have in class, the first discussion that we would have in class, I would take the animal, I would read the name that is to it, and I would say, in order to talk, you need to have this discussion animal in your hand. Then, when the student raises their hand, I would then take the animal and I would throw it at the student. Now, the student would then catch it, hopefully. They would say their part and then they would throw it back. Now, the key is you need to have the students follow this with their eyes. Now, if they follow it with their eyes, they're constantly going to be looking at the person that is speaking, so hopefully they're listening. And when the speaker throws it back to the teacher, they're hopefully watching so they don't get hit with it. Now, through this system and through the discussion animal, the teacher constantly has control of the conversation. After about a month of school, which is where I'm at right now, I am able to throw the discussion animal out and the students can throw it amongst themselves. I know we're not going to have anybody beaming it at each other. We've gone through all of the rules and the procedures with this, and I've been able to have some of the best discussions I've ever had in class.